All right, everyone, we're going to go ahead and get started here shortly. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right, I'm dealing with the split screen here, so sorry if I'm slow. All right. Everyone is ready. Okay. I call this meeting to order at 6:07 p.m. Roll call and verification of quorum, Chair Courts. Is your mic on? Wait, I can't hear.
Pachetta? Can you hear me now, Allison?
Yeah, are you using a mic? It's very faded.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Really good?
Let me turn up my volume. Wait, speak again.
Can you hear me?
Okay.
Okay. Rochetta? Kelly? Lim?
Present.
Set? Present. Sarah?
Present.
Butler? Butler? Connolly?
Present.
Connolly?
Present.
Croft? Hoffman?
Present.
Larson?
Present.
Emery? Ellis? Rose?
Present.
Gunn? Almanar?
Present.
Barrios?
Here, present.
Hall? Jackson?
Wait, Kirsten, are you speaking a little far away from the mic?
No, I'm really close.
Okay.
Jackson? Atohaj? Salhan?
Present.
Naguib?
Present.
Wanjan?
Present.
Bell? Weiderberg?
Present.
Green? Hendry? Borges? Alcuda?
Present.
Condoloro?
Present.
Pozzo?
Present.
Fuchs? Valero?
Present.
Amy? Galbo?
Present.
Coleman?
Present.
Brenda, Richmond, Richmond, Jen,
Present.
Barilla,
Present.
Vasquez, present, Lipner. 36 out of 54 quorum is verified.
All right. Obviously just be looking at the chat, Kirsten, because there's some people who typed in the chat. Similo.
Didn't call my
I didn't hear that. Green.
Present and voting.
Green marked present and voting, so noted at 6:13 p.m. I actually don't know the correct procedure for that when it's right at this time, but all right. And then obviously Kirsten, just look at the chat to make sure. All right. Approval of the minutes. Everyone go ahead, take a look at last meeting's minutes. And is there a motion? Similo.
motion to approve last meeting's.
There's been a motion to approve last meeting's minutes. Are there any objections? Seeing none, last meeting's minutes are approved. Yurchetta.
Present and voting.
Oh no. Yeah, if you're in the, I don't know if you're in the room, but if you're in the room, you could just turn on the mic. Yurchetta, present and voting, so noted at 6:14 p.m. Also, yeah, I forgot to mention this. Since I'm online, anytime anyone, even if you're in the room, anytime anyone raises their hand, wants to do anything, it all has to be on the computer since I'm not in the room anymore. So yeah. Approval of the agenda. Everyone go ahead, take a look at this meeting's agenda. And is there a motion?
It is
Turn your mics on. Who's Similo?
Motion to approve the agenda.
There's been a motion to approve this meeting's agenda. Are there any objections? Yurchetta. Is that an objection? I'm gonna assume, okay. There's been a motion to approve this meeting's agenda. Are there any objections? Seeing none, this meeting's agenda is approved. Open forum, is there anyone here wishing to speak in open forum? I'm gonna have to have somebody call me. There's nobody, okay. None for open forum. Hall.
Good question, because I saw we approved the agenda. There's senators that need to be reinstated tonight. Like that should probably be done at the beginning, not the.
I can barely hear.
There's 2 senators in miscellaneous business that says reinstate. So I was just wondering if we're going to do that now so that they don't wait till the end of the meeting if they're getting reinstated.
That was not going to be now. That was going to be at the end of the meeting. Who else has their hand up? Hall, do you still have your hand up?
Yeah, I guess they could probably be better if they are here, so they're not sitting here for 3 hours. So I'll motion to move to miscellaneous business.
There's been a motion to move to miscellaneous business. Are there any objections? Hall, okay. Your hand is still up, but I'm assuming you don't have an objection to, okay. Seeing no objections, miscellaneous business, reinstatements. This will be like a speeches questioning of Morissette.
They're not D-Leg, sorry.
Deezer Lazo objects.
Oh, Deezer Lazo objects. Okay, so then I go back to Hall. Tell me if I'm doing this wrong, but I think I'm doing it right. Hall, do you with? Oh wait, no. Objects. Yeah, Hall, do you withdraw?
I mean, I'll withdraw it just if there's like a reason why, just to know. Like, I don't know what's going on. Just typically, we don't really do.
You don't withdraw?
No, I will just if. But I expect there's a reason. Just
Yeah.
go
It's
over it.
just that we have a lot of the confirmation through, and one of them I expect two of them exactly. Get through those. Reinstatements and in like past history, they have been done like traditionally at the end.
Yeah, I hate to waste our time, but I'm not gonna withdraw. That's not. I don't feel like that.
All right, so now we're in pro-con? Question mark? Okay, so the objection, all right, well, so now they each have 1 minute to go. And so Amanda's the objection, so she's the pro, Hall is the con. So tell me if I'm doing this wrong, I think, but it'd be Amanda first. You have 1 minute?
Yeah, I believe so. Right, Brody? Pro is the objection.
Yeah, pro's the objection, but Lazo has 1 minute.
So basically just we have about 6 cabinet confirmations to go through and then 2 regular Senate confirmations. And I feel like those just do have much more importance, especially because cabinet is a very demanding position and needs to get started like off the ground running. And traditionally initiations, they're also here, and reinstatements have always, like, at least in my time, have taken place at the end. And at the end of the day, the argument that like they're going to be here the entire time. So the other cabinet appointments, and I don't think it's respectful of their time, considering how this isn't a branch. So that's why we should send the
All right. So Lazo finished because I can also barely hear. Nods. Yes, Lazo's done. Okay. For the people speaking, just please try to speak like as loud and coherent into the mic as you possibly can. Hall, you have 1 minute.
You know, I mean, I wasn't trying to make this a whole thing. I just know, like, in the past, typically we do it at the beginning. I mean, probably they might have been different this past session. I just argue physically and or on the teams called now would make sense to do that, so that at least here they can be voting members of the Senate if they are reinstated. That's my argument. I mean, we don't have to do it. I just think that makes sense to do it.
All right, are we now in voting procedures, I'm guessing? And okay, so Lazo is the pro. So yes would be Lazo, con is Hall. I don't think I can see the vote count.
We can just go with con wins and we'll get the vote count in the agenda, the official vote count.
All right, so we are in miscellaneous business. All right, miscellaneous business, reinstatements. Are Stephen and Christopher Levine here? All right, so this just goes speeches, questioning, debate type thing. Because we are on a time crunch, I am Samilo.
I was just gonna make.
All right, yeah, because we're on a time crunch. Is there a motion for speeches, questioning, debate? Samilo.
Motion for 2-minute speech, 2-minute debate, and 2-minute.
I couldn't hear the end of that, but I think it was
2-2-2.
all right. There's been a motion for a 2-2-2. Are there any objections? All right, seeing none. Stephen, you're up first, so whenever you're ready.
Really quick, Stephen, before you jump into it, I'm just going to give some context for everybody. I'm going to talk really in here, so hopefully everybody on Teams can hear me. Just for some context, there were 4 senators who were automatically dismissed after this first meeting of the semester. Every semester at the first meeting, you have to communicate if you're not going to be there. And the 4 senators who were dismissed did not have the communication as far as we were aware. And so our LJR chair sent them their notice that they had been dismissed. And anyone who's dismissed for that reason or for an accumulation of absences has a chance to basically appeal that and request for reinstatements. That's what we're doing now, right? So this is explaining why that may have been either inaccurate or shouldn't have happened or should be reinstated for whatever reason. It'll have 2 minutes to kind of state the case. You all can ask questions, then debate that, and then you will vote on whether the former senator will be reinstated or not, just for the procedural side.
Thank you for that, Brody. But all right, Stephen, you have 2 minutes whenever you're ready. I can't hear.
All right, everyone hear me?
I can't hear.
What about now?
I can hear.
Ready? You guys hear me?
Yes.
I can hear you pretty well.
Okay. I appreciate everyone's time and the opportunity to get up here and speak on this platform. I aim to keep it relatively brief. So throughout my short months here in the Senate, I've noticed a huge cultural issue internally. The only time I was greeted, barring a couple of individuals, it seemed ingenuine with the intent of stacking up votes from the new guy and to leverage themselves into a position. I've not been reached out to a single time with any guidance on how to start as a new senator. I've only watched people aim to make themselves something as opposed to serving their role as a representative of their respective college. As for the reason I was unable to come to last week's meeting, where I sacrificed my opportunity to run as the representative for the ANSF committee, is because I was at a trade show for my 6-figure business, one of 5 shows I have the privilege of working this year, and where a large majority of the revenue for my company comes from. Kicking out a senator, especially a new senator, and especially a College of Business senator, from the Senate for an absence due to business is obscene. The result of this vote is inconsequential to me, as my fellow College of Business Senator Chris Levine was told he was during practice Senate during orientation. Regardless, the decision is in your hands as the body to decide the fate of the College of Business seats tonight and bump the already 2 empty seats to perhaps more by removing a newly elected senator.
All right, we are now in line for questioning. Are there any questions? Make sure you're raising your hand on the Zoom. Hamid is first. We have 2 minutes, so.
Hi. Were you ever made aware of the absence policy prior to the first meeting?
I was made aware of the 2 absences in a given semester policy. I wasn't aware of the first absence policy. Like I said in my little thing, I haven't had too much guidance, and I've been to everything I can be to, including both days of like the 6-hour orientation. So, yeah.
Lazo.
2, if I may.
You may be quick.
Okay, first one, were you contacted or at all informed about like any absence request forms or how to do those prior to your absence?
I potentially, but I haven't been given direct guidance on how even all this Senate stuff works. And like I said in my short little speech there, I just haven't been given any guidance really. I think it would be unfair to kick out a new guy for a lack of guidance. So my response to that.
And secondly, you mentioned that you have all these, the six-figure business and these 5 shows you have the privilege of being at. Why should we hire you if you have reinstate you if you have prior commitments that have interfered with your ability to join us?
I think I provide invaluable input to the Senate. I believe I have a unique background in being a business owner and being a member of the College of Business, having a seat in the College of Business.
30 seconds remaining.
So with that, I think I could be representative of all small business owners in as a senator of the College of Business. Yes, I do have some constraints with what I can go to, but I try to work my hardest to balance everything I possibly can and to be as active as I can with all my activities.
All right, questioning time has pretty much elapsed. So is there a motion? Varela.
Motion to extend by 3 minutes.
There's been a motion to extend questioning time by 3 minutes. Are there any objections? I'm seeing hands up. I don't know if that's still for questioning or if that's for an objection. Shen, is that an objection?
Oh, no, that's for questioning. Sorry about that.
I'll object to that.
All right. Karen Gold, you're objecting?
Yeah, I'll object to that.
All right, Varela, do you withdraw?
I withdraw.
What did you say?
Yeah, I'll withdraw.
Okay, so you withdraw. All right, so questioning time has elapsed. Is there a motion? Collazo.
If questioning time has elapsed, then aren't we in debate?
Yes. Is there? Can I just say we're in debate, or does somebody have to make a motion?
Yeah, we just move on to debate.
Yeah.
Okay, we're now in debate. So you guys have 2 minutes. Oh, okay. We'll do Collazo and then Lazo. Remember, we only have 2 minutes, so.
Thank you. I'm trying to I'm looking through the emails that Brody sent out to us as Senator-elects. I'm not really seeing that kind of guidance in Brody's email either. I was checking all the bases to see if one of the Senate President said it or the pro tem said it. I'm willing to reinstate the senator. I mean, he does have other commitments, but it's just a matter of teaching the senator the absence policy and making sure that he gets an absence, maybe a blanket excuse approved by LJR.
Okay, Lazo, and remember, we don't have much time, so.
Well, I understand that may have been issues with how this information was being spread out, and I understand that there are other time commitments. I don't believe that there is an inability to reach out and ask those questions if they are there. And secondly, I don't think the language left an impression that they were very impassioned or willing to be in Senate. So I personally will be voting not in favor.
Corelli.
Yes, I'll be voting in favor of keeping Senator Levine in Senate. As someone who was also recently appointed, albeit back in January, I had very little guidance. So I sympathize with Senator Levine in that. And I'm also a fellow business senator, and we only have 6, and there's 8 total seats. So if we're down another seat, and that's just less representation for the students at the College of Business. So I stand with Senator Levine 100%.
All right, Richmond, you have 10 seconds.
Oh, never mind.
All right.
Can I just move to vote?
There's been a motion to move to voting procedures. Are there any objections? I'm seeing a lot of hands up still. There's no objections? Okay, because I still see the hands up. You can speak into the mic if you object, but there's no objections. All right, we are now in voting procedures. All right. I can't see the vote now.
Twenty-five to 10 to 4.
All right, with the vote count of it was 25 to 10 to 4, you said? With 25 to 10 to 4, Stephen Levine is reinstated. So next we're going to have the reinstatement of Christopher Levine. Same thing, you were on a 2-2-2. Let's everyone be mindful of time constraints here, as we do have a lot of business to see, but we're on a 2-2-2. So Christopher, whenever you're ready.
Can you all hear me? Yeah. So first off, I'd like to apologize for missing last meeting, but I was down south with my brother. I was celebrating my little brother's 9th birthday. I don't get to see him too often, so of course I forgot to email. Some I'll probably do, but I do hope y'all forgive that and realize we don't have a lot of senators as of now. So to remove people just because I got to send an email, I think is kind of crazy. And with that being said, if y'all think I truly should not be here, that's out of my control.
All right, we are now in line for questioning. Samilo.
Do you plan on missing any more meetings? And if so, what is the biggest time constraint?
I don't got many time constraints as of right now. It's class. Only taking one right now, so I got a lot of free time, time to put into this.
All right, Hamid.
Have you also been attending your committee meetings as well?
No.
All right, Memory.
So did you know about the absence policy and then like choose not to do anything about it, or like, Stephen, did you not know?
So I knew about the 2 absent rule, but I wasn't completely aware of the last meeting rule. But if Stevie didn't know about it, I always ask him what's going on, and he didn't know about it. There's no reason I know about it.
Varela.
Do you know what committees are on?
Yes.
Can you name them?
ENA.
I can't hear. Was the question answered?
Yeah, I was answered.
Okay. Levine.
Senator Levine, do you think there's perhaps any resources that should be allocated towards perhaps new senators to help them kind of get the ropes a little more at the beginning of their term to understand better?
I think the orientation is great, but I do think we should also have another leader that kind of helps out just the new people. Make sure they get to the Senate meetings, make sure they email the people when they're not going to be here.
All right, questioning time has elapsed, so we're now in debate. Is there anyone wishing to speak in debate? Samilo.
We have been pretty lenient in the past about new senators just because this is a big adjustment, and I feel like we all understand that. Like most of the people this session are either returning or they're from SGLC, which is a big learning thing for us to have. So I think having the opportunity to have new senators, but also being able to teach them is something that we should also look into. However, the concern kind of comes to attending ENA. If you're in a committee, it is statutory required for you to attend. So if that's going to be an ongoing issue, you will be removed from that committee and then removed from Senate again. So Just to let you know of rules, there's one of them.
Almanar.
Yes, I will be voting to reinstate Senator Levine. As a returning senator myself, I do find using Teams and the email situation a bit difficult. So I have also missed messages about upcoming meetings and deadlines. So I don't blame them for having no knowledge on having to attend the first meeting of the semester. That's something when I first joined was kind of confusing for me as well. So.
All right. Also, just make sure you're addressing me when you speak, just for Robert's Rules procedures. You're always addressing the chair. So make sure you're not speaking directly to anyone unless it's in questioning, unless I allow it. Hall.
Yeah, just to kind of reiterate, I think having grace is an important just attribute in general. I think that kind of being kicked out for missing the first meeting, yeah, it's a technical rule, but I also think like we should have leniency and grace with people when that's the situation. I'd also just add, I know there's questions of time commitment. We've already confirmed people that have way more time commitments than some of the other people we've talked to. We probably will tonight. So the point being that at the end of the day, they're new senators. They're going to learn. This is kind of a very arbitrary way to punish them if we decided to not allow them to stay.
All right. Debate time has elapsed, so we are now in voting procedures. All right, I'm just waiting to hear the vote count. With the vote count of 31 to 5 to 3, Christopher Levine is reinstated. All right. Elections, not actually, is there a motion? Hall, hold your hand up.
Yeah, I was
gonna.
I was gonna. Talking.
I can't hear.
That I was just going to motion to move back to announcements from the student body president.
All right, there's been a motion to move back to announcements from the student body president. Are there any objections? Seeing none. Announcements from the student body president, President Lister.
Good evening, everyone. Hope you had a good week so far. Just from the past week, on Monday, Alex and I met with Rick Falco from the director of the student, who is the director of the student union, Sarah Hunt from the RWC, and Stephanie Spies from Wellness and Health Promotion Services to discuss how the previously now unused all-night study space in the Federal Commons could be better used for student use. Specifically, the idea was a expanding night's pantry and a new kitchen space for WIPs. And I will be preparing a presentation to be presented at the University Space Committee on this project. We also met with Lori Schuff from the UCF Foundation to begin a new initiative incentivizing students to participate in financial literacy and education programs. We also connected with Mike Kepner, the director of the Military and Veterans Success Center, to discuss how student government and his center can better collaborate, specifically on the Military and Veterans Caucus. Earlier today, we also met with Terry Mahajer, the athletics director, about their plans for the year, and we're very excited to see what we can come up with them. I also wanted to quickly wish good luck to our appointees for the cabinet and the senators going through, or potential senators going through confirmations today. And thank you all for your time, and have a great weekend.
Are there any, really quick before you clap, are there any questions for the student body president? People call, your hand is up, but all right. Seeing none, thank you. And okay, got the hand down. Announcements from the student body Vice President Brawley.
Alrighty, good evening, everyone. As Bryce said, he sort of touched on some of the initiatives that we're taking on right now. I'm taking a special interest in our financial literacy initiative that we're heading. I'm working with Dr. DeSalle to find ways to both incentivize every student to learn about financial literacy, as well as running a program through Sensible Nights to assist students that have been identified as financially at risk. And then this afternoon, I met with the executive director of Homecoming, and I will continue to meet with all agency directors to prep for a great ADSB year. So thank you all.
Are there any questions for the student body vice president? Seeing none, thank you. Comptroller's report, Vice President Brawley.
Hello again. So the FAO balance is at negative 16,324.46 cents with 0 reversions. The COT balance is at negative 14,869.02 cents with 2.3 reversions. I will continue to make this report as it is statutorily required until the confirmation of our comptroller. However, the balances will remain the same until July 1st with the start of our new fiscal year.
Are there any questions regarding the comptroller's report? Seeing none, thank you. All right, Attorney General's report, none. Cabinet Forum, none. Announcements from the interim Chief Justice, Daniel Rivera.
Hi, Senate. I hope everyone's summer has started off as well as it can be. Judicial has seen an increase in requests for great appeal advising, so we're working through those with the remaining justices. And then we're also a partial council right now. We've only got 5 of us, so our top priority is keeping our services live during transition. So yeah, and then if you guys ever need any of our services, please feel free to reach out at any time. That's it from me.
Are there any questions for the interim Chief Justice? Seeing none, thank you. Announcements from the Supervisor of Elections, none. Announcements from the Activity and Service Fee Committee Chair, none. Announcements from the Scholarship Committee Chair, none. Caucus reports, none. Announcements from the Senate President. All right, so hi guys, just a quick little maintenance things right now. So for office hours, I know I said earlier I was gonna set office hours, but really this is my only commitment. So if you're contacting me within a reasonable hour or trying to set up a meeting or just talk about something, I usually will respond. So that's, I just want to touch on my office hours. I'm pretty much available at all times. Again, at a reasonable hour. But yeah, I'm pretty much available all the time if anyone has any questions. That's it. I did want to go over exec confirmation expectations once more again, because we'll be seeing them tonight. It is a confirmation, not a selection. Just keep that in mind. And so just make sure that the questions are germane to that mindset and everything like that. You know, you might think maybe there's someone better for this position and you're entitled to that opinion, of course, but that's not really germane to what we're doing here. You're looking to see their qualifications. So just keep that in mind. I hope everyone got a chance to run through the ENA minutes. I know it's a lot of questions. It's like 18 pages or something like that. So congrats, ENA. Great meeting from you guys. But yeah, just remember confirmation, not a selection. So just keep that in mind. Make sure it's germane to how they'll do in that position. Voting procedure reminders, really quick. Because I know it sometimes gets mixed up. Obviously, you have options for yes, no, abstain. Abstain is typically used for conflict of interest or when you think that you can't be impartial. It's not really meant for like a I'm unsure about this type thing. Obviously, by all means, vote how you want, but that is kind of like Robert's Rules of Parliamentary Procedures, what the point of abstain is, not so much of like a I can't make up my mind thing or anything like that. It's really only if you feel like you can't be impartial. That's what it's in there for. So just a quick reminder for voting procedures, obviously vote how you want, but just throwing that in there. Also, I would like to say, I don't want to harp on little procedural things that everyone might disagree on. Sometimes we have meetings with lots of business, and I just don't want it to turn into past sessions where it turned into 30 minutes of disagreeing on a procedural thing. I think we can work above that and we can just work towards our initiatives, and I think it hinders productivity a lot of the time. I just want to pop that in there if anyone has any questions. If anyone feels unwelcome here, please come to me. We never want anyone to ever feel that way. And we obviously know what we can do better in the future now. But yeah, I just don't want us to turn into harping on little procedural things. Obviously, anyone's free to make any motions of what they feel is right, but I don't want us to stray away from the main goal that we have here and get off on a tangent in any meeting. If anyone has any questions regarding that, please feel free to come to me. But with that being said, resignations, Shane McDermott and Thomas Bogota. Are there any questions for myself? Seeing none. Internal legislative assistant report, none. External legislative assistant report, Laurel Richmond.
Good evening, Senate. This week I really locked in on creating the forms that I discussed during my confirmation last week. So I linked the college concern form, which I hope you share with your constituents so we can really use these ideas to propel ourselves into the D meetings coming up, maybe in the summer, but definitely in the fall. The news request form. So usually reporters will reach out to you and then hopefully you'll go to this. I'll also, when I'm added back into all of the college group chats, I will you'll pin I'll pin all of the links at the top. So it's easy to get to. And then Senate Spotlight nominations. So it'll kind of be like to incentivize to do something cool. So you can nominate someone and then Speaker Pullman and Pro Temp Morissette will choose it and then I'll make it for the Instagram. And then one-on-one link if you want to meet with me. It is the same thing that my residents use because I don't know, it's kind of like a night to night. We're both nights. And then tonight, maybe, I don't know if it'll be tonight, but eventually we'll see 2 pieces of legislation that I wrote as ELA last session. If you have any questions or concerns, feel free to reach out.
Are there any questions for ELA Richmond? Seeing none. Announce Senate President Pro Tempore report, Pro Temp Morissette.
Hello, everyone. I'll be overseeing fiscal bills until the new DLEG is appointed. They won't be appointed for a while just because I don't want to add to already lots of confirmations. I will also be virtual moving forward just because I won't be in the Orlando area this summer, and that is all from me.
Are there any questions for the Pro Tempore? Seeing none. Deputy Pro Tempore of Legislative Affairs report, none. Deputy Pro Tempore of Senate Relations report, D-Sir Lazo.
Hey guys, I'm just dropping the one-on-one forms and RSO allocation forms here again. The RSO allocation one is really important if you want specific clubs, so do make sure to fill that out, and there's more spots on the Sign Up Genius. And lastly, I'm going to be attending the UCF Campus Master Plan information session next Wednesday, so if you want to tag along with me, let me know, or if you want a summary of what was discussed, don't be afraid to reach out to me.
Are there any questions for the D-Sir? Seeing none. Old business, None. Fiscal Committee caucus time, none. Fiscal Committee reports, CRT Committee Chair Adam Caringle.
Hey guys, so rest in peace, Kylie. Will be forever missed. Going on to bigger and greater things. But anyway, nothing was seen at the last meeting on Monday. But however, next week we're gonna have a quick mock meeting, and we potentially will see Fiscal Bill 5601 for timeline reasons.
Are there any questions for the CRT Chair? Seeing none. FAO Committee Chair Larson.
All right, guys. We had a pretty long meeting today. We saw 4 allocations in committee. We approved 2 and postponed 2 for some clarification. The ones we approved were 5601, and that was 9 to 0 to 1, and 5603 at 7 to 0 to 3. Lastly, if your clubs need any funding, feel free to reach out to me. So yeah.
Are there any questions for Chair Larson? Seeing none. RS Committee Chair Rose.
Yeah, so today we did 3 VPFs. We ended up postponing all of them, but we had some good discussion. And yeah, we also talked about setting a precedent for this session about what documents we will require for VPFs. And then finally, we elected Senator Varela to ORS Vice Chair. So big congrats to him.
Are there any questions for Chair Rose? Seeing none. Fiscal legislation, notice of legislation on first reading, none. Notice of legislation on third reading, none. Notice of legislation on second reading, bills, Fiscal Bill 5601, funding for 31 members of the Association of Latino Professionals for America to travel to the ALPFA National Convention in Las Vegas, Nevada from August 4th, 2024 to August 8th, 2024. DLEG Caringle. Whenever you're ready, you have the floor. Oh, DLEG Caringle. Oh, postponed in committee. My bad. I didn't see that. This was postponed in committee. That's totally my bad. Internal committee caucus time, none. Internal committee reports, ENA Committee Chair DeCara.
We're seeing 8 confirmations tonight, supposedly. We also saw the first round of cabinet this past Tuesday. Basically, Trinity Blessman, that is from the last meeting that was postponed to this week, so and vote to 4 to 0 to 1. Autumn Johnson will also be here for 4 to 0 to 1. They were seen last Tuesday. Lucy Blanco for Chief of Staff was 3 to 0 to 1. Christina Cabrera, Deputy Chief of Staff, was 4 to 0 to 1. Jonathan Polera, Attorney General, was 1 to 0 to 4. Kylie Samillo, Comptroller, 3 to 0 to 2. Drew Benitez, Director of Student Affairs, 5 to 0 to 0, and Anna Valch, Director of Communications, 4 to 0 to 0. Additionally, for transparency reasons, there was some confusion with the votes with the Attorney General appointee. After discussions, agreed upon vote 1 to 0 to 4, which passed the ENA. Additionally, there are 2 proposals for the Attorney General at the request of the Vice President.
All right, are there any questions for the ENA Chair? Seeing none. GAP Committee Chair Vasquez.
Hi, everyone. I hope everyone's had a good far. We had a really productive GAP meeting this week. I presented an opportunity to the committee that came up about us receiving funding to host an event for National Voter Registration Day. Like I said in committee, I sent out an email regarding us having this funding through the proper routes, and I'm currently working on that because I've already gotten a response. We also had great discourse for ideas from the committee to increase voter engagement, so we're going to keep workshopping those ideas, and I'm going to meet with Amanda Dever soon with Night Vote to see if we could collaborate on these events to reduce redundancy. And if anyone has any ideas for this, or you'd like to see some of the ones that we had, feel free to look at the agenda.
Are there any questions for Chair Vasquez? Seeing none. SBA Committee Chair Hamid. Oh, shit. My bad. wait. It's actually LJR committee, chair courts.
Hi everybody. A few people have let me know that they're not able to access the absence form on Night Connect. I've talked to Brody and we really can't figure out what the issue would be except for not logging in. But if you have done so and it still doesn't work, the link is in Teams, so please save it. You can also message me and I can just send you the link as well. It's the link I send all the time.
All right, are there any questions for Chair Courts? Seeing none, now it's SBA committee, Chair Hamid. My
Good
bad.
evening, Senate. I hope you're all having a good week. So this week in SBA, we saw Proclamation 5601, Resolution 5601, and 5602, all of which passed on first reading. We also talked about SBA legislation procedure and examples of good questions and debate. I started working on a Pulse Memorial that will take place in the Student Union, but I also found out that OSI might be having something similar, so I'll be reaching out to Shane about that shortly. And if anyone needs help with initiatives, please let me know. I'm always here to help you guys.
Are there any questions for Chair Hamid? Seeing none, confirmations. All right, as a quick reminder, everyone remain respectful, make your questions germane as much as you can, and is there a motion for time purposes? Colazo.
I motion for 5 minutes of speeches, 10 minutes of questioning, and 10 minutes of debate.
There's been a motion for a 5, 10, 10. Are there any objections? Seeing none, make sure you lower your hand. Oh, there you go. Seeing none, first up we'll have Trinity Blessman, if Trinity is here.
I'll just refer. I didn't receive. I emailed about like an hour and a half before the meeting. Got no response. This is the second time they're not here, so I'm just gonna postpone this indefinitely. Motion to postpone.
There's been a motion to postpone the confirmation of Trinity Blessman indefinitely. Are there any objections? Seeing none, this confirmation is postponed indefinitely. All right, is Autumn Johnson here?
Hi, yes, I am.
All right, you have, oh no, 5 minutes whenever you're ready.
Hi guys, my name is Autumn Johnson. I am running for Senate. A couple of things about myself. This will be my 3rd year in student government, my 1st year in Senate. I'm very excited. I have a couple initiatives that I was thinking of that I'm really looking forward to collaborating with some of you guys on to see how I can get across. They kind of are financially based just because of my college in health science. I feel like with the financial aid office, I feel like there's a lot of confusion. So I just wanted to kind of alleviate some of that. I don't know what else about me. I am just very excited, and yeah, that's about it. Thank you. I yield the rest of my time.
Crap, I'm so sorry. I'm really, really sorry. All right, Metellus.
We're in questioning now, right?
Oh, no, I forgot to say we are now in, well, I said it when I was on mute. Sorry, guys. We are now in line for questioning Metellus. I'm so sorry, guys.
My question is, can you go more into detail about that initiative that you brought up?
Sure. So I had 2 ideas in mind. The first one being about kind of like how like financial aid works in general. I think that I would consider myself like a financially trained person, just like about money in general. But I feel like there's a lot that happens like when you take out loans or when you take out scholarships in college, and there's a lot of stipulations that are sometimes really hard to understand, especially in my specific community, especially in the Black community. So I kind of want to do something. I don't know if it was going to be seminars or just like a training that people could do in web courses if they wanted, but just kind of that gives them a little bit of background knowledge, the way they can be a little bit more smart, especially when they're taking out loans. Like a lot of people don't know like the interest rate of the loans that they're taking out, and that's going to come back to bite you in the butt when it is time for you to pay them back. And then like they don't know whether they're subsidized or unsubsidized, because that's going to change like when you're supposed to pay them back. So things like that. I was really hoping to work with some Black student organizations, the Black Caucus, BSU, things like that, and other minority groups that feel like that's a big problem within their community. But I definitely need a little bit more work on how to actually execute it. So I was really hoping you guys could help me out on that.
All right, remember to lower your hands too, because I'll get confused after you finish your question. Next is Corelli, and then we'll do Collazo.
Hi. If I'm not mistaken, weren't you confirmed back in January?
So no, I actually ran for election commission. So that was about the last time you guys saw me. But now that I'm going into my final year, I think that I will have a lot more free time. So I've always wanted to be a senator. So I think now I kind of have what I need to do the job that I really want.
Collazo.
Hi. What committee or committees would you like to sit on?
I really was thinking about LJR or CRT.
Lazo, and then Stephen Levine.
So we're having a little bit of technical difficulties. Can you explain a little bit more of your like past student government experience? I'm sorry if you have it in your resume, we just can't access it.
Yeah, no problem. So I'm a transfer student. So my first year, 2020, I was in SGLC. I went through the entire program. I ended up going to Senate Leadership Council, which I really love. I was in the same class as Speaker Allison and Pro Tempore Danny, and Kylie, Senator Kylie. And so it was a lot of fun. So I shadowed all of the committees on there, and those were the ones that I liked the best. And then the second year, the last time you guys saw me, I transitioned over to Election Commission. I really loved Election Commission. It was a lot of fun. And it definitely fit a lot more with my schedule, because even though it was a lot hands-on, it was mostly during the spring semester and like those last couple of months around election season. So it fit better with my schedule. And then now I'm looking to kind of make a transition, since I'll have a lot more free time on my hands.
Levine.
She seems like a great candidate. I'd like the motion to vote or motion to debate.
There's been a motion to move to debate. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we are now in debate. We'll do Collazo, DeCara, and then Stephen Levine again.
Hi, so I'm going to be voting in favor of this candidate. Believe it or not, there was a short time where I myself was an election commissioner appointee, and I attended one election commission meeting, and Ms. Johnson was there, and she is part of my SGLC class as well. So I encourage this entire chamber to vote in favor of the candidate. Thank you so much.
Next was DeCara, I believe.
Yeah, I was able to see them in the past session within Election Commission when I was there, and they now want to apply themselves into the Senate body. They were able to do their same jobs with the Election Commission, and now they have the same drive for the Senate body. So, and you know, their respective college. So I don't see why not. So I'll be voting in favor.
All right, and then next I said Levine.
She seems great. I'd like the motion to vote.
There's been a motion to vote. Are there any objections? Still seeing hands. Make sure you take your hands off if you're not. All right. Seeing no objections, we are now in voting procedures. With a vote count of 38 to 0, this candidate passes. All right. Okay, next we have Lucy Blanco for the Chief of Staff. All right, let's also, sorry, my bad. Let's also go easy on the chat, guys, just because the noise. But you have 5 minutes whenever you're ready.
Can everyone hear me okay? Thumbs up, perfect. Thank you. All right, I'm ready, Allison. Good evening, Senate. For those who don't know me, my name is Lucy Blanco. I'm a junior now, majoring in interdisciplinary studies on the pre-law track. To all of the returning senators, I am so excited to see you all again. And to those who aren't, I'm so excited to get to know you and work with you. During my time at the University of Central Florida thus far, I've had the ability to foster my enriching academic and extracurricular journey, and I like to think I've accomplished a great deal. I owe this to my institution for allowing me to make this experience my own. And through this, I have grown to understand the importance of advocacy, diligence, and self-efficacy, and these are the pillars I stand on. Growing up in a small town, I always knew I was destined for something greater, more physically than figuratively in that sense. So coming to the largest school in the state of Florida and one of the largest in the nation was a no-brainer. That expanse never scared me, it excited me. I always called the town I grew up in, shout out 239, a 4x4 square. No matter where you go, you always run into someone you know. Little did I know that this 1,420 acre campus would soon feel like the home I've always wanted, and I managed to drop a new home 4x4 square. I am so fortunate to be standing here today and say this because I have the people to thank for that. The people that I smile with a grin from ear to ear when I see them, not awkwardly pretend I'm talking on the phone. The people that support me endlessly and tirelessly. The people that never fail to make me laugh. And the people that never tell me I'm too loud, too talkative, and too much. I have UCF student government to thank for that. SG's mission to empower students resonated with me from the start. That's why I joined the SGLC and ELC programs, and I fell in love with the idea that I could be a part of something so much bigger than myself. Last year, I had the amazing opportunity to serve as your academic affairs coordinator, where I built strong relationships with departments across campus, forged new connections, and launched impactful initiatives that benefited the entire campus community. I worked with students, foremost, to advocate and amplify their voices. Most importantly, I tried to spread my love of learning and this institution every day, everywhere I went, to truly embody students should love where they learn. I now have the honor of being the Chief of Staff appointee for the Lister and Brawley administration. My time in student government these past 2 years has undoubtedly prepared me and led me to charge forward together with this team going into the position of chief. I had the privilege to have the most incredible mentor in the previous Chief of Staff, Sabrino, and understand the ins and outs of the job as well as how to lead a cabinet and be a part of a team. As mentioned, the most important values to me are advocacy, diligence, and self-efficacy. And this is what this administration is all about, in selecting leaders from across campus that have a desire to grow their skills and give back to the community that we owe so much. I'm passionate about building a strong, inclusive team that embodies the student government's core values. And I envision that actively working together to create positive change will inspire a new perspective within our student body. My goal is to foster a collaborative environment where everyone feels empowered to contribute, and not just the executive cabinet. I want to be a resource to everyone within student government. I want to set an example for what student government is and what we can do for students, and be that first friendly face they see and know they can come to us anytime. I believe that working together, we can be a valuable resource for all students and make a real difference. I appreciate the opportunity to take the challenge of chief of staff. And as I always say, I'm ready to do it afraid. So with that being said, I'm excited to answer all your questions, and I yield my time, Madam Speaker.
All right, we are now in line for questioning. Let me pull up the. All right, Collazo.
Hi, Ms. Blanco. What would you say is your biggest motivation, or someone that motivates you?
Thank you so much for that question. I think if I had to pick one person, I can't say that, it would be two. It would be my two younger brothers. They are who made me who I am today. My biggest, blessing growing up was being their older sister and kind of being that person that they looked up to. And there's pressure that comes with that, but I always say pressure is a privilege, and I've loved being able to see them grow up. And, it's funny because now Sebastian, who's the youngest of us, he wants to come to UCF because he sees what I do and how much I love this place. And he's 12 years old. And so if, just seeing them smile and knowing that I made them proud just a little bit makes me so happy, and, looking forward to, hopefully having that effect on other students, incoming freshmen. My term as an undergraduate admissions ambassador really helped me foster that connection with incoming families. And, if there's one thing I do in my 4 years, I want to garner love for this institution and what we can be.
All right, next is Hamid, then we'll do Caringol, and then Levine.
Hi, Ms. Blanco. If confirmed tonight as the Chief of Staff, what do you believe your biggest goal would be for the year?
Thank you so much for that question. There's so many things I want to accomplish, because the really special thing about Chief of Staff is that you kind of do so much with it, and it's exactly what you make of it. I, think there's a lot of positions on cabinet that really embody that, and Chief of Staff especially. For starters, I think there's two things that come to mind. One, it is, really prioritizing the personal development of our team. I always say that these are leaders in their own right, and I never want to interfere on their style and what, their moxie and what makes them them, and, bringing real distinct change and what they want to see. And so I just want to garner that, work with them one-on-one, understand their leadership styles, understand, their learning styles too, because there's a lot of lessons to be taught. I know that myself, being on cabinet, I would not be the person I am today without that. And it's because I had such nurturing and caring people above me in the division of administration that really wanted to see me succeed in that previous year. And so I really want to continue that and just expand upon it even further. And secondly, I want to plan a really amazing welcome week for student government as a whole. So, if granted the position, that's one of the first things I would start working on with my counterparts from not just the executive branch, but judicial and the legislative, so we can make SG an even bigger and better place.
All right, Caringol, you don't have a question anymore? All right, Levine.
She seems great. I would like the motion to go to deliberations.
There's been a motion to move to debate. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we are now in debate. I'll do Hall and then Varela.
Yeah, so I'll speak in favor of the nominee. I've known Lucy a little bit, at least since she was in SGLC. And something that I will say that I think speaks to their character is that typically sometimes with SGLC, once you're kind of put into your different camps, oftentimes there's not a lot of talking to the other branches and or talking to like other members in SGLC, but not so much the branch heads, things like that. When it was my year when I was speaker, and I remember with Pro Temp Foster as well, that Lucy was actually one of the only people that wasn't an SLCer that actually would say hi to me and Nick when we were in the office. And so to me, even though there's small things like that, I think that speaks more to their willingness to be very open with people, their willingness to actually, care about other elements of student government. And that's something that I kind of hope that they continue in this role because it is an important role, no question about it. But I expect, even at the time, I remember speaking with the then president, that I had a feeling that Lucy would be one of the SGLCers that would do good things for student government. So I expect that they will do good in this role, and I'll be voting in favor.
All right, Varela, and then we'll do Shen.
Yeah, I'll also be debating in favor. I really liked her answer to the question what motivates her, and she went into a little story about her brothers. I think it demonstrated that she has a lot of love for this campus and for this university, which I think is kind of underrated part of being in student government. I think you kind of have to love the university, kind of like show off student government well, and I think she kind of exudes that positivity and that kind of like optimism about the university. I think it's super cool. So yeah, I am very happy to be voting in favor of her.
Next, I'll do Collazo.
Speaker Pullman, I think you said Shen and then.
Oh, shoot, my bad. Shen and then Collazo.
I will also be debating in favor. I don't even know if she remembers me, but even before I was in Senate, I've had really amazing interactions with Blanco. I think, she's super positive and she's perfect for the role.
All right, Collazo, remember to drop your hands too when you're done.
So I will be voting in favor of this candidate. This candidate is a very close personal friend of mine, but that's not the only reason why I'm voting for her. Lucy is a very ambitious person. If she wants something, she's going to do everything in her power to do it. This includes, the roles that she's been in, the projects that she has completed, and the projects that we will see her complete as chief of staff. Lucy pours her heart and soul into everything she does, so I will be voting in favor of this candidate.
All right, Levine.
So I will also be voting in favor of Blanco. I know her personally. She's absolutely amazing to interact with. Always lights up a room, and it seems like everyone's on that wavelength that she's the right one for this position. So, and I
Samillo.
May I retain?
You may.
Oh, JK, I think Aiden has to do that. However,
okay.
I want to say that in SGLC, I was running for a chair position, and I didn't even go up on that podium because Lucy and a whole bunch of other people decided to ask very intense questions, and it scared me. I'm not gonna lie, but it's questions like that that really get people thinking and get those critical thinking skills out there, and I think that that's something that we should look for in all of the candidates of cabinet. So I have developed from the person that I was then, but that is all thanks to Lucy and the questions that she asked. So obviously I will be voting in favor.
All right. Legalbo.
Motion to move to voting.
Only the ENA chair can.
Seeing that we're basically done with debate, motion to vote.
There's been a motion to vote. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we are now in voting procedures. Remember to drop your hands. With a vote count of 40 to 0, congrats, Chief of Staff Blanco.
Thank you, everyone.
All right. Drop your hands, guys. It confuses me. All right, next up we have Christina Cabrera. I can't speak. Christina Cabrera for Deputy Chief of Staff. I'm just going to start the timer whenever you start speaking too.
Speaker Pullman, I believe Banesh is actually raising their hand for president voting.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Banesh.
Thank you, Samilo. President voting.
Banesh, president voting so noted at 6:24. That is totally my bad. I'm so sorry.
You're good.
If something like that happens again, just drop it in the chat and then I'll call on you. All right. Whenever you are ready, Christina.
Good evening. Thank you for having me here today. To those who are returning centers, I'm so happy to see you all again. And to those who are new, I'm so excited to meet you this year. My name is Christina Cabrera, and I'm thrilled to be appointed as the Deputy Chief of Staff this year. I'm a rising junior majoring in advertising public relations with a minor in human resources. Within my time at UCF Student Government, this has given me so much that I'm thankful for. I started my SG journey within SGLC and became familiar with the impact we make on the student body. Last year, I had the rewarding opportunity to serve as the Safety and Transportation Coordinator for the Greenway and Smith administration. I played a key role in cultivating collaboration between critical departments at UCF, including the Police Department, Parking and Transportation Services, and Facility and Operations. This collaborative approach led to significant improvements such as speed bumps in the garages, H&D, bright line discounts for all students and faculty members, trash cans near garages, and suicide prevention signs at the top of all garages. My dedication to this collaborative effort was recognized when I was named Cabinet Member of the Year, an honor I hold with deep gratitude. As Deputy Chief of Staff, I'm committed to promoting collaboration across all UCF campuses like Nona, Rosen, and downtown. This will involve building strong relationships with student leaders and administrators, ensuring open communication, and working together to achieve a unifying UCF for all students. I'm very thankful to have been appointed Student Government Leadership Council Coordinator. Having benefited from the guidance of outstanding coordinators myself, I understand the crucial role this organization plays in fostering student leadership. I'm committed to making a lasting impact and serving as a positive role model for the next generation of student leaders. Collaboration is the best way to accomplish a goal. Working with the other branches, I believe, is a great way to strengthen relationships and build more ideas. This can include working with Judicial and Senate SGLC coordinators to create the structure and lesson plans for SGLC. This can also include working to ensure all branches of what important initiatives are happening at Lake Nona, Rosen, and downtown so we can best support them. Lastly, my values that I've held on include servant leadership, stewardship, growth, positivity, communication, and passion. By adhering to these values, I aim to create a leadership style that is not only effective, but also fosters a positive and empowering environment for everyone involved. Again, I'm honored and thankful that I've been chosen to be the Deputy Chief of Staff and look forward to the challenges and excitement it will bring. Thank you for taking the time to listen. I yield my time and happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
All right, we're now in line for questioning. So first I'll do Shen and then Metellus.
How will you bring your skills in public relations and advertising to the role?
Thank you for that question. For specifics, definitely public relations, I think, has helped me in a very large way by taking public speaking classes, as well as learning crisis communication. I think that's one of the most important things I've learned in PR. When something doesn't happen that's planned, how to solve that and a better way to approach the situation and how to handle it and give that information out.
All right, next is Metellus.
What are you most excited to accomplish this year?
Thank you for that question. I'm very most excited for the SGLC coordinator role. The most beneficial thing I've gained from SG is the mentors that I've received here. That's made me the person that I am. I look up to them in so many ways. So I want to be that person for someone else. And I really appreciate all they've done for me. So I hope to do the same for others.
All right, we'll do Collazo, Varela, and then Lim.
Hi. So what is one thing that you would like to improve upon regarding the SGLC?
Thank you for that question. I really want to improve or even just add more really vital ways for communication, such as guest speakers. I want them really immersed into all there is, such as like soft skills. I think that's such a strength I received from the SGLC program. Not only was it soft skills I learned, but I learned so much more that this campus does. I felt like a UCF encyclopedia when going to my friends. I knew all the resources we have. So I really want to strengthen all those skills, such as bringing public speakers in and just even enlightening them more on what UCF can do for them and even their peers.
All right, I said Varela.
Yeah, there was a new caucus founded to also like follow like the other campuses like Nona, like downtown and Rosen, like following. Do you plan to sit on that caucus and or like interact? She has some good ideas.
Yeah, for sure. As Deputy Chief of Staff, I am the liaison between Lake Nona, Rosen, and downtown. So I hope to collaborate not only with their administration, but their student leaders. And I'd love to bring not only myself, but them to the table as well.
Lim.
Hi, so my question for you today is, in your past role as safety and transportation coordinator, was there a time when you had to overcome a significant challenge?
Thank you for that question. I think a significant challenge I experienced when working with safety and transportation was definitely sitting on the Parking and Transportation Committee. I was the student liaison for this committee, and it was very eye-opening to see the difference between what the view of administrators were compared to the view of students. So I think learning and leveraging, especially vouching for spin scooters, since that's not something faculty uses, that was my job as the student to vouch for those. So I think that was my challenge, but I think I definitely embraced it and was able to accomplish it well. Thank you.
Lazo.
Can you elaborate a little bit more on how you would aim to support the Chief of Staff and the President and Vice President in their roles?
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for that question. The best way to support the Chief of Staff would definitely be our close relationship will definitely be super beneficial. We're a team. We definitely help each other where one of us can't. So I think communication, if she needs help with something or can't be at something, I can fill in for her as the same for herself. Working with the President and Vice President, I hope to help complete and follow any initiatives that they need or any special projects and just be their right-hand man whenever they need someone.
All right, Carringle.
Debate.
There's been a motion to move to debate. Are there any objections? Shen, is that an objection? I'm going to assume no. All right. Seeing none, we are now in debate. Make sure you guys lower your hands if they've been up. Metellus.
Well, I have had the amazing pleasure to be a mentee for Christina, and I've seen firsthand the hard work that she's put into her position, her kindness, and how
she just has such a drive for everything that she puts towards, and she has so many great ideas and initiatives for this position, and I think she would be amazing for the job, so I will be voting in favor, and I encourage you guys to do the same.
All right. Shen. All right. Remember to put your guys' hands down. We'll do Colazo and then Similo.
Yes, so Christina is also one of my close personal friends. However, to speak on her as a safety and transportation coordinator, I remember the first day that the garages got the speed bumps. It was January 8th, I believe, and I immediately texted Christina the following, loving the speed bumps in the garages, and she goes, "Oh my God," in Garage Beat, and I said, "And then she asked me to send her a pic, and I did. And she was super excited to just see that her initiative come to life. So I'm super excited to give her my vote, and I encourage the entire chamber to do this, to vote in favor as well.
Similo.
All right, so I actually had the honor of being Christina's roommate freshman year. And honestly, I'm gonna be so transparent, guys. She had a calendar up in her room, and it is the most organized thing I think I have ever seen. And I think that shows a lot about the way that she puts herself and the way that she like puts student government as, of course, and like everything in her life in an organized manner. And I think that's very important for this position, is to be organized and to be able to have that drive and passion and like putting things on a calendar and things like that. I just think that it shows a lot of her character. So I just wanted to put that out there, and of course I will be voting in favor.
Richmond.
So last semester I kind of worked in SBA with Cabrera a little bit, and she was such a good safety and transportation coordinator. All of her initiatives got done. I remember I went to her because I broke my ankle due to a spin scooter, and there's nothing she could do, but she listened. So she can definitely deal with the SGLC kids because she was able to listen to me and not laugh at me. So I'll be voting in favor.
Takara.
Motion to vote.
There's been a motion to vote. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we are now in voting procedures. With a vote count of 40 to 0 to 1, congratulations, Deputy Chief of Staff Cabrera. All right, next we have Jonathan Polera for the Attorney General.
Hello, can everybody hear me? Can you guys hear me? Oh, sorry. Okay.
Yes, perfectly.
Thank you. Good evening, Senate. Thank you all for allowing me to make my case on why I would be the best choice for Attorney General and Judicial Advisor. As a former senator, I understand the length of these meetings, and I commend all of you for your exceptional diligence each week. As some of you know, my name is Jonathan Polera, and I'm a CJER majoring in legal studies, minoring in marketing, and pursuing a certificate in litigation and advocacy. UCF has offered me invaluable opportunities to deepen my passion for law and has profoundly shaped my identity as a Knight. And let me be clear, I am so proud to be a Knight. Now let me tell you about some of my UCF experiences. During my time at UCF, UCF Downtown has served as my academic hub, where I've attended classes and worked. Seeking involvement, I joined the mediation team and was lucky enough to be their vice president. I also competed at Brunel University with the team and conducted workshops to enhance the team's mediation skills. Additionally, I participated in the Legislative Scholars Internship in Tallahassee, where I worked for 2 representatives, conducted legal research, and engaged with constituents. This experience has enabled me to acquire skills necessary to succeed as the Attorney General and Judicial Advisor, including conflict resolution, legal research, impartiality, and confidentiality. Some additional experience I've had during my undergraduate tenure include working at the President's Office, which has helped me build relationships with university leadership, working as a legal research assistant, which has strengthened my ability strengthened my ability to navigate and analyze legal statutes, and volunteer as a basketball coach, which has taught me to act as an impartial advisor to the players and parents. One of my favorite experiences at UCF was serving as a senator for CCIE for seat number 2. Upon confirmation, I joined the GAP committee to support voting and lobbying initiatives. I led mental health priorities during the creation of our advocacy agenda for Day at the Capitol. In Senate, I gained insight into the Attorney General role as well, finding it fascinating. I met with AG Moore to understand its duties and responsibilities better. She also encouraged me to apply for the position of Attorney General. This exchange has given me confidence in my ability to excel. For this upcoming year, my primary focus would be on executing the duties of the Attorney General and Judicial Advisor, as stated in the responsibilities in Title IV. I am confident that I would be able to do so in an impartial and timely manner. I've already taken steps to reduce my load as to ensure that I will have more than ample time to dedicate to this endeavor. So let me be clear, my research position is ending due to the grant expiring, and I've informed the President's Office that I plan to reduce my work hours significantly if I'm to be confirmed as your next Attorney General and Judicial Advisor. While my proposal includes several events I aim to host, my focus as AG will primarily involve legislative drafting, statute revisions, and providing judicial advising. My new proposal illustrates how events such as lounging with lawyers and Day at the Courthouse are proposed to assist the judicial branch and the government affairs coordinator. In the past, AGs have been employed outside of student government. Looking at the previous 3 AGs, they've effectively managed multiple commitments, including executive roles in RSOs, employment, and involvement in honor societies and legal fraternities. As AG, I aim to foster inclusivity and impartiality with transparency as a central goal. To achieve this, I propose creating a dedicated space in the SG office where I will regularly share my opinions, provide contact information, and facilitate meetings through a QR code. This initiative promotes accountability and enables open dialogue, including embracing criticism and dissenting opinions for constructive discourse. My aspiration for Attorney General is fueled by a passion for the law, a diverse skill set refined through various experiences, and my commitment to give back to the community. AG Moore's encouragement has been pivotal, reinforcing my confidence. This opportunity enables me to contribute to the university and community that has shaped my leadership qualities. Thank you for your time and consideration. I yield the remainder of my time.
We are now in line for questioning. Hamid, Morset, then Lazo.
Hello, Mr. Polera. Can you go into the statutory requirements of the AG and how you plan to execute them appropriately?
Of course, Senator. Thank you so much for that question. So the AG statutory requirements are that the AG is an advisor to the president, that the AG can issue written opinions, that the AG can create statutory revisions, that the AG can investigate potential violations of the Golden Rule. The AG also investigates, represents student government when student government is a party. The AG is also called to act impartially. With the AG being impartial, the AG is also not allowed to endorse any candidates when student government has political office. The AG also is required to. The AG is also required to, the AG is also allowed to issue a written opinion based on when they believe that the censure of a student government agent is done, the procedure that a censure is done incorrectly. And I believe, I may be missing a couple. Those are just the AG statutory requirements that I've memorized. So how I plan on doing this effectively is ensuring that I have strong strong relationship with the president, as I will be the advisor for that. I will ensure that I know the 5 steps of how to write an opinion, and I also will look back at previous opinions to ensure that the work that I do is of the best of my ability, but also that it's done correctly. I will ensure that I have adequate knowledge of the statutes. If not necessarily at the top of my head, I will make sure to go back and look through the statutes, which is the great thing about having them online, which is also, that's a statutory requirement that I'm supposed to do, is ensure that the statutes, when they are updated, that they are updated online, and also that all of the student government senate and the student body president and the senate advisors as well know of the revisions for the month.
More set.
Hello, Polara. Do you plan on continuing the close relationship and influence that the previous AG had with the Senate body? And if so, how do you plan on fostering that relationship?
Yeah, thank you so much for that question. Absolutely. My plan is to ensure good relationships with both of the branches. Going into Senate, how I'm going to try my best to ensure good relations and close relationships with Senate is going to LJR meetings and by going to student body Senate meetings, so that I can continually stay up to date with current events, as well as to work alongside Senate and ensure that anything that Senate needs me to do, that I'm there and ready to do.
Lazo.
I'm just a little confused. I see that there's 2 proposals. Can I just have a little bit more explanation as to what the difference between the 2 is, and if there's any importance as to why there's an updated one?
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's actually a very great question. Thank you so much for that. So when I went through E&A, there is some confusion as to my original proposal. So I wanted to thank E&A for allowing that to be clarified to me. So going into my proposal, there were a lot of events, like how I mentioned in my speech, Day at the Courthouse and Lounging with a Lawyer, that weren't my events. But because of some of the wording that I used in the original proposal, it made it seem like I was going to host these events and that I was going to take over these events, rather than that I had ideas for the events and that I wanted to collaborate with members of the judicial branch, and members of the executive branch, and of course later on in my proposal you see that I have a potential collaboration with the legislative branch. So I just wanted to further clarify that I would not be necessarily hosting all of the events that I include, but also that that there were some potential ideas or different ways that I could contribute, as well as ensuring that I also had a further change when I had my in the new proposal that I have. I included for the AG opinions, I wanted to include judicial advising with that, to ensure that both the Attorney General and judicial advising role both have that I am able to reach as many students as I can for both of those positions, not just one of them.
All right, Courts, and then Collazo.
Hi, I see in your proposal that you want an event to clarify the Constitution and that you plan to collaborate with the LJR committee. Would you go more into detail about that?
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for that question, Chair Courts. So with that proposal, there's a lot of new senators that are constantly coming in Senate, whether it be sign-overs or just new seats that are being elected. And so I want to ensure that, senators as well as just other SG agents as well are aware of, the Constitution, that are aware of the 6 titles in the Constitution, and, what the duties and powers that each of the titles go into. Because I think that it's important for all SG agents to know of these responsibilities. And, it's just, even if, SG agents already know the Constitution, they know what's in it, just to give them a refresher, I don't think it would be hurtful at all. So, yeah.
All right, there's also about 3 minutes remaining, just over 3 minutes, but Colazo, you're up.
You. My question is, can you please list and describe each of the Senate rules?
Of course, Senator, thank you so much for that question. I'll be honest with you, as of right now, I do not remember all of the Senate rules because I've been really pounding trying to get into the statutes and going into the UCF Constitution. So I hope that it's illustrated that I've spent many hours trying to really hone in and memorize as much as the statutes as I can. Again, thankfully that the Senate rules are able to be shown online. As of right now, I'm sorry, I can't answer that question, but I'll make sure that if elected into this position, I go further back into the Senate rules and ensure that I have an adequate knowledge of them, and then I can go offline with you and ensure that if you have any fears about my knowledge for the Senate rules, that I can relieve the worries.
All right, next is Caringle.
May I motion then ask a question?
What was that?
May I motion then ask a question?
Motion and then ask a question? Go ahead.
Motion to extend questioning by 5 minutes.
There's been a motion to extend questioning by 5 minutes. Are there any objections? You can turn on your mic or turn on your whatever. All right, seeing no objections, questioning time has been extended by 5 minutes. So just to give everyone a perspective, there's about 8 minutes left in questioning. And then you can ask your question, Caringle.
Good evening. So what would you say your biggest accomplishment in the 55th session as a senator was?
Thank you so much, Senator Kringle, for that question. I think my biggest accomplishment in the 55th session was advocating for the students' rights and their needs for at Day at the Capitol. I think it was such a great moment for all of the SG agents and those who aren't part of the SG agent, who aren't an SG agent, who still attended that event. I think it was an incredible event. I think we did some. I think we had great discussions. I think we were really able to be impactful at the Florida House and the Florida Senate. And I would say that would probably be my most impactful thing, being a member of GAP, helping prepare for that, and then actually going and being lucky to go to the event and talking with legislators about our constituents.
Takara.
Can you explain why within your first proposal, judicial advisor is not mentioned once?
Yeah, of course. So going into my first proposal, I believe that when I was doing the AG opinions and I was talking about having the QR code there, that when I had the meeting scheduled, I think in my head, I associated the two together. So in my head, I believe that, judicial advising and just meeting with the AG as well would both come in, go hand in hand. That's why when I talked with when I presented my proposal, I ensured that I didn't just necessarily say SG agents, or I didn't necessarily say members from specific branches or anything like that. I included students as well. So yeah, I believe the answer to that question is I thought going into it that I did incorporate it, but it was a mistake that, thankfully ENA was able to talk with me or bring it up in the committee rather. And yeah, and I was able to change it so that, moving forward, I can better that specific initiative in the proposal.
All right, next is Levine, and we have about just over 5 minutes.
You seem to have a great understanding of the role and the position. What's your favorite part of the AG role, and why do you believe yourself to be great for this role?
Yeah, thank you so much, Senator Levine, for that question. I think my favorite part of AG is how it incorporates like my two biggest, I guess, desires in life. It's law, huge passion of mine, as well as helping others. With this position, you not only ensure that you have good relations with both branches, you're helping as many SG agents as you can in the Attorney General role, as well as in the judicial advisor role. You're helping students. You're trying to ensure that they have understanding knowledge before they go into their meetings. And I believe that just helping as many people as I can is going to be my biggest goal. So yeah, I think that my proposal kind of outlines how I can do that, and yeah.
All right. Oh gosh, sorry. Collazo.
Thank you. So the judicial advisor, the judicial advisor, in addition to the judicial council, equals to like 15 impartial advisors who will help students with the student conduct process and the academic integrity process. How will you handle your cases as an impartial advisor? Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for that question. So impartiality, going into a little bit of my background, I've had experience being impartial, whether it was when I was through teen court, whether it was through my background in mediation. I believe that I have strong impartiality skills, as well as, my background working in the legislature. So I believe the fact that I have these experiences makes me a strong candidate in being impartial. It's not something new to me. So yeah, again, I strive to do my very best in everything I do. So being impartial would not be anything different.
All right, next is Lazo.
To the best of your ability, can you name a couple of the statutory requirements as the judicial advisor?
Yeah, of course. So you need to advise the student that you're meeting with to ensure that they have an adequate knowledge of what is going on, like, what counsel that they're going in front of, and a little bit about the process of what they're about to get into. You also need to ensure that you're acting as an advisor rather than an attorney. You can't act as an attorney for them in any way. But also going forward with that, you need to ensure that they have that they have help to ensure that they have a response for the charges that are brought to them when they go in front of the committee. You're also charged with going in front of. You're also charged with receiving students that are advised by the senior student affairs officer and the judicial council. And I know there's a lot. Oh, of course, one of the biggest ones being the judicial advisor, just like the attorney general, is called to be impartial. Yeah, I know there's some I'm missing, but those are just a few to name.
All right, we have just over 1 minute remaining. Borges.
Yeah, I was just wondering if you looked over either of your proposals for typos or admitted words, as I see quite a few.
Yes, I'm really sorry, Senator, about that. I was really motivated and I was very passionate when I was doing my proposal. I was very envisioned on the ideas in which the proposal, like the initiatives in which the proposal has. I'm really sorry that it has, typos. So again, I'm really sorry about that. I tried to the best of my ability to ensure that it has, the lowest amount of typos or anything like that. To answer your question, yeah, I did look back to try to mitigate the amount of typos. I believe I was very passionate upon the initiatives that are included in the proposal, and that I might have just been focusing too much on how it could be looked at moving forward, rather than maybe the specific word choice or diction that was used in the actual proposal.
All right, questioning time has elapsed, so we are now in debate. Is there anyone wishing to speak in debate? All right, we'll do Vasquez and then Almanar.
Hi, so I wanted to speak in favor of the confirmee for AG. I think John has proven his knowledge of statutes and titles and his willingness to learn if he doesn't know them by heart completely. He's proven to be more than qualified to take on his position, outlining his resume and all the experience that his previous experiences have given it to him leading up to AG. So I have no doubt in my mind that he'll make his participation in student government a priority for him. I've also been fortunate enough to witness how much effort he's put into preparing for the confirmation, asking everyone and anyone he could really important questions to best prepare, reaching out to the previous, I think, 3 or 4 AGs to get as much insight into the position as possible. And I've also been able to see John work outside of an office environment and get to know him. And I can vouch that he is a guy of great character and heart, and we can wholeheartedly trust him with this position.
All right, as a reminder, we are nearing time crunch, so when there's a lot of hands up, just be aware. Almanar.
Good evening, Senate. This week in ENA, I abstained from this vote, but tonight I believe I will be voting no on this candidate for Attorney General. I don't believe the candidate is the best for our team here in student government. What I have seen in ENA from this candidate, what I've observed in the discussion tonight, I'm not confident in this candidate's ability to perform the role of Attorney General. The role of ENA is not to teach candidates where their roles begin nor end. Before voting, I implore we ask ourselves, is this normal procedure to allow candidates to add information to a proposal that they did not know beforehand? I wholly believe that any individual has the ability to learn and grow, but the role of the Attorney General is one that is very integral to student government once confirmed, and is one that's more independent from the executive cabinet as a whole, given that they exist to advise all of student government, all of our agents and students on campus. With that said, I'm voting no.
Collazo.
So I will be voting on the candidate. I do just want to draw the chamber's attention to the vote count during ENA, that it was 1 to 0 to 4, meaning 4 of the ENA committee members abstained from voting as they could not seem to decide which side they would vote for the candidates. I applaud the candidate for learning our titles and our statutes. That is a very important role as the Attorney General, but I do have my reservations and my concerns as a former member of the judicial branch. Yeah, I implore the chamber to vote as they see fit.
All right. Carangle, Lazo, and then Levine.
Oh yeah, I was also one of the members of ENA last meeting, but then I was in the vote. I think this one will also be voting no. Pilar was also in my college. He did have drive to do a lot of the things when it came to stuff with law and everything else in that path. But shown in the speech today and in the proposal with multiple spelling errors, which is just a simple spell check, just taking that extra time and due diligence to make sure something is a product. On top of the fact that even during meetings, he was seen watching sports games as well as voting incorrectly. We had a vote where we were specifically told to vote, but he not paying attention, watching a game, voting yes. I think it's just that sloppiness. This is a big position.
Decorum. Make sure you're using respectful words. All right. Laza.
As another person who was present in the ENA meeting, I personally will be abstaining simply because I don't feel comfortable voting on something, especially when what I have seen in ENA committee and then what I've seen today vastly differs. I would like to point out that yes, the candidate is very passionate, and yes, the candidate does have the ability to learn, has presented that ability prior. I would like to also point out that there were issues that you can read in the agenda that were present in the meeting, and also, as mentioned, that second updated proposal is really a first, and I personally don't believe that there is a lot of integrity in that. While I applaud that senator for having the drive and passion to want to see that, unfortunately, that should have been the proposal that was first demonstrated. Thank you.
Levine.
So I believe all negativity towards this candidate during questioning seemed to be inconsequential nitpicks as opposed to any questions regarding his character, work ethic, knowledge, or time commitment issues. Seriously asking about punctuation, that's very inconsequential. Asking about the seat rules on an exec position, again, inconsequential. These questions seem very targeted and premeditated with intentions for John to be made looked at in a poor light. Every question regarding his position, he rattled off with large knowledge and clarity. If a candidate memorized the duties of the role, statutes, and the Constitution, what else has he yet to prove that he would be a good candidate? I'll be voting yes, and I hope the chamber sees this and votes in favor of Polero.
All right. I'll do Richmond and then Collazo.
Okay, I do have to say that I do think that this come from me, like the AG should know Senate rules, but I'm most likely going to be voting yes. John reached out to me. He wanted to know how he could take this AG role on his own accord and like be a good AG, if that makes sense. There was a lot of times where the last AG like was a little confused, so I really applaud Polera for going around asking, so he's hopefully not confused if confirmed. He did love hockey. I don't see that love of hockey going away, but he does seem a lot more passionate about this role. So I have faith in John.
All right, I said Collazo. All right, I'll do Collazo and then Morset.
So I just want to voice what Sir Lazo voiced. There are two proposals. There's one proposal that ENA saw and we voted on, and how the candidate presented his plan to be Attorney General. And then there is an updated proposal which ENA did not view nor vote on. So I would just like to voice that again. And additionally, the Attorney General is required to update the Constitution, the statutes, and the Senate rule. That is why I asked the candidate to state the Senate rules.
Morset.
I'll be voting in favor of this candidate. I personally saw John become a senator last session, and he really jumped straight into all of the requirements and all the duties of a senator. Seeing their passion and ethic with all the questions that were answered also was amazing, and their previous experience and everything in the legal realm was also very inspiring and inspirational. Also, just seeing a lot of what was said on the floor today, the amount of knowledge the AG is required to know is very vast and very wide. So I do applaud him for knowing as much as they know currently, and as well as their effort to learn even more if they are confirmed tonight.
All right, we have a little under 2 minutes remaining, but Borges, Courts, and then Hall.
Thank you. So I just wanted to mention that the AG, like Collazo said, is responsible for fixing statutes, different things, including the technicals within them, advising on appropriate wording and spelling within bills, and writing detailed opinions for the public to see. I will unfortunately be voting no. I think spell checking and making sure sentences aren't missing words is important for this position because it's the emphasis on specifics and tiny detail is extreme for this position specifically. The word constitution, for example, is in big, bold letters on both proposals. It's misspelled in addition to other things. And I just unfortunately will have to vote no.
All right, I already called on Courts and Hall, so you guys can go, but we do have a little less than a minute left, so Courts.
I think I will be voting in favor simply because the proposal that he has for clarifying the Constitution, that was my big initiative for the LJR committee to train my committee and then give that training to the Senate body to make sure that they know the statutes, and knowing that he wants to invite all of the SG agents when the LJR committee is not really doesn't really collaborate because it's so internal. I think that really speaks on just how passionate he is about this role.
All right, Hall.
Yeah, I mean, all I'm gonna say is if you want every future nominee to be shaken like a chihuahua up there, we're gonna put people down based off of typos. You know, I have my concerns. I do think at the same time, these concerns have been made. Now it's up to Senate to use its authority, whether that's non-compliances, censures, etc., if the potential nominee is not doing the work that's needed. But at the same time, just some of the arguments that I'm hearing, frankly, we've all done homework while sitting here. We've all watched probably soccer or something else. So I think to single out one specific person, when I don't think there's a single cast the first stone. That's all I'll say to that. But at the heart of it, I just think that's incumbent then on us to make sure that the nominee is following through on what they're statutorily required to do, not what's been in the past where we just defer and just hope and no one wants to rock the boat. If they're not doing the job, you call them out. But if they are, you support them. And that's how I stand on it.
All right, debate time has elapsed. So Chair DeCaro.
I was gonna wait for you to say if there was a motion to extend. I don't know if you were gonna ask that or not.
I was gonna wait to see if there's an objection. Does anyone want to make a motion, Levine?
Motion to extend by 4 minutes.
There's been a motion to extend debate time by 4 minutes. Are there any objections? You can just speak up.
I object.
All right, we have an objection. Levine, do you withdraw?
No.
All right. So we're now in pro-con. The pro is the objection, so Colazo, you have 1 minute.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I don't see a need to continue debate. I think senators' minds are made up on how they are going to vote. And it is the discretion of the ENA chair or myself to cast a motion to vote. And if the ENA chair finds that we're ready to vote, then we are ready to vote.
All right, Levine, you have 1 minute.
So the ENA chair just showed that there was a little shakiness on potentially going to vote right now. So that's why he kind of went back to the speaker in order to potentially have an extension. I extended it by a small amount as well. I know we all want to get out of here, but I do think there's a lot of important debate to still be had, seeing as we're still pressing him over punctuation issues and minute details. I think that would be swaying potential senators' votes negatively. So I think there is value in continuing to speak about this. It's immensely important. I think 4 more minutes will do it justice, but we're already here. Might as well extend and make sure we're voting in a way we all want to be voting.
All right, so we're now in voting procedures. Polara, can you turn your mic on for a second? I'm sorry. Pro is the objection, so that is Colazo. And then con is Levine. All right, with a vote count of 21 to 12 to 2, we do not have 4 minutes remaining. Andrew? Clauser was the pro, no extension. All right, so we are now in voting procedures. Oh, shoot, no, we're not. Chair DeCara.
Seeing that, motion to vote.
There's been a motion to vote. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we're now in voting procedures. Oh, was someone turning on their mic? All right, seeing none, we're now in voting procedures. Does everyone else know the vote? Because I don't, or we're still waiting.
Yeah, Brody's still counting.
Okay. With a vote count of 25 to 10 to 4, that's a majority, right?
It has to be 2/3, but it is 2/3, so yes, confirmed.
All right. Congrats. With a vote count of 25 to 10 to 4, congratulations, AG Polera. All right. Okay, we have 2 more. Yes, Levine.
I don't know if this is like right with Robert's rules. Would I be able to like motion to recess for like 5 minutes?
You can make that motion, but I guess you could make that motion, but we have to be out of the student union at 9, so we are on a time crunch.
Never mind.
All right. Of course. All right, next up, sorry, I'm pulling up the agenda again. All right, next up we have Kylie Similo for comptroller. Whenever you have 5 minutes.
All right. Can everybody hear me on the thing? I feel like this microphone's a little weird. Okay, so hi everybody. My name is Kylie Similo and I'm the appointee for comptroller for the executive branch. I just wanted to first start by saying who I am. I'm 20 years old, a health science major, and I plan on attending med school in the coming years. I grew up here in Florida around the Clearwater area, and I just wanted to touch on my current involvement in the community and here at UCF. At UCF, I am an orientation leader, which fosters my leadership quality and promotes Knight's Pride. Also fosters community and enhances leadership skills in diverse, dynamic campus environments, as well as providing students who are new here to the environment their own personal guide or mentor throughout their journey here at UCF. I also wanted to talk about my achievements as volunteering at Advent Health. This has provided me with immense fulfillment and in a high pressure environment as I am in the emergency department. I also wanted to touch on my volunteer experience as a tutor, which I now work for, and I get to meet with students in lower elementary classes to talk to them and kind of help them, guide them through their schooling with the diverse learning styles that they have. I also wanted to touch on my Senate time and my student government time. I started an SGLC, which is a program that taught me all about the inner workings of Senate as a whole. And then I went to the Senate branch. I'm always doing that. Sorry. And then I went to the Senate branch and I learned a lot about CRT through my time and all things fiscal. At the end of the 55th session, I was awarded Exponential Achiever Award during the passing the gavel. I also have had open fiscal workshops, met with all the deans of every single college, attended RSO events, and spoke with other campuses to foster relationships and lead the community to make CRT thrive. I was reelected in the 55th session to be a senator again and serve as a CRT chair. I now wanted to touch on some of my goals and initiatives as comptroller. To prevent budget reversions, I would like to implement proactive planning, monitor expenses regularly, communicate transparency not only with stakeholders but every entity of student government, and enforce expense controls, evaluate performance, and also have student representatives to make decision-making processes. I also want to provide training to all members of student government if they feel it fit, because there is a lot to know about fiscal and it's hard to wrap your head around it. I'm still here for you guys. And I also think that there are a lot of things that most people don't know. I also wanted to touch on my newsletter. We all know Senator Richmond's newsletters for Senate to show all the achievements that Senate has had. I want to start doing this as well, but for fiscal matters. I believe that there's a lot to know fiscally, not only within student government, but also for RSOs and other individuals who would like to request funding. This is a good way not only to spread the word, but also show that we have goals and drive. I also wanted to continue my workshops and other activities to get outreach. And of course, the importance of the raising the activity and service fee budget. There's a lot of talk that we can have around the campus to find different ways for us to do this. I will be working very closely with Morset to figure out things that we can do, not only as student government, but also with Senate. I also wanted to touch a little bit about communication. This is something that is very important to me and is one of my main goals. Transparency and communication is something that I strive for within student government. I think I did a pretty good job of this as CRT chair. I always had a very long announcement and it wasn't just my numbers. And I do plan on maintaining accessibility and addressing concern forms for all perspectives. I believe that there should be a public forum online for people to voice things that they find are difficult within finances. I also would like to thank you for your time, and with that, I yield to questioning.
All right. Sorry about my dog. If you guys could heard her, we're now in line for questioning. So I'll do Morset, Lazo, and then Hamid.
Could you go more into detail about your student representatives for decision making?
Yeah, so obviously we have the student body like Senate, but I also want to have more meetings as comptroller with every single branch head. So that's kind of like the representatives that I'm talking about, is just being able to have that open communication and transparency within all the branches, because I feel like that was something that was lacked last year, not only with CRT chair and comptroller, but other positions as well. So I think having like all branches meeting and talking just to get the transparency out there, including me.
I said Lazo.
Two, if I may.
You may.
So the first one is pretty basic. What position would you hold in the finance office?
The finance office, I would be the chair.
And given issues in the past with communication and making sure that everything in the finance office is maintained and up to date, what will be your way of leading the finance office to make sure that all communication is effective and that all members are playing an active and communicative role?
Right. So obviously the budget and the finance office are two of the most crucial committees that we have within student government to talk about the budget. So for me, I do think meeting more than just what's statutorily required of the meetings that we need to meet are something that I would like to push for, because obviously our committee has a lot of things that we can do that just haven't been done before, like auditing and things like that. There's a lot of things that we can look into to prevent reversions and things like that, of like that sort.
And then your second question.
That was my second question.
Oh, I'm sorry. All right, Hamid, Caringle, and then Lim.
Hi, Ms. Samillo.
Hi.
Can you go into the statutory requirements of the comptroller?
Of course. So of course I am the chief financial office for the student body, all of it, the student government branches. I also have to make weekly reports in Senate, not only just the reversion amounts, even though that is what's statutorily required. I plan on giving more, obviously, to have that form of communication with you guys. I also serve as a liaison between all the entities that we fund and student government. I also have the responsibility to the student body president and student body at larges to make sure that the ORS committee and other committees are doing what they need to. I'm also responsible for allocation request forms. So if the CRT chair or FAO chair were to make any changes to the Night Connect and or ORS, make any changes to the Night Connect form, they have to show me first. And then I have to say like, yeah, that's good. And then they can make it like approved. I'm also responsible for, I'm trying to think of like more things. I'm the chairperson that reports all transactions and like duties in that way that happen within the budgets. I also am responsible primarily for like budgetary restrictions and things like that of that sort, and meeting with the business office. There's more, but it's pretty much summarized.
All right, and then I said Lim, or was there someone, Carringle? All right, Carringle.
I'm just gonna motion to move to debate, but please throw their hands up.
I'm not going to see that motion as we do still have hands up. Lim.
Hi, Kylie. My question for you today is what steps do you take when making decisions?
Just like in general decisions or fiscal decisions?
Fiscal decisions.
Yeah, so I believe as my previous position of CRT chair, kind of just to run through like how I went through that process. Obviously, I spoke with proper people to make sure that it was kind of a common theme between everyone, that was something that they all agreed on. I also believe that in order to make fiscal decisions, you have to have everyone kind of on board because money is a big thing, especially within a university. So making sure not only that we speak to admin, but also the students to make sure that that's something that they would like. And then moving forward, I would obviously meet with whoever I need to, considering there's a lot of people in the finance office, meeting with them, and of course, Bryce and Alex.
All right, next we have Richmond.
Hey, Kylie. As the chief financial officer of all of SG, how would you address the concern that's come up a lot regarding a lack of representation for the judicial branch on the ASNF committee?
I love this question. Thank you so much. I hope to have a lot of meetings with all the branch heads as stated before, and I do believe that it's only fair that if Senate and exec have a position on the finance to talk about it, that it's only fair that we get other representation as well. So maybe trying to find a different way or an avenue for the judicial and the election commission to sit on there, or at least get a voice.
All right, Carringle.
Motion to debate.
Borja, Colazo, did you have a question or? You don't have, okay. There's been a motion to move to debate. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we are now in debate. I'll do Metellus, Hamid, and then Shen.
I've had the pleasure of befriending Kylie in SGLC and SLC, and from day one, I noticed her drive and dedication. She's someone that knows how to balance a fun and positive personality with immense professionalism. She's not only displayed herself as a wonderful role model to me, but to many different SGLCers and SLCers. This, along with how she's proven through her past experience, leadership, and fiscal knowledge, is why I believe she's perfect for the role of comptroller, and I encourage you all to vote in favor.
I did Hamid was next.
Yes.
Okay.
Obviously, I'm going to be speaking in favor of Miss Kylie. I believe that she is probably one of the most financially literate person that I know in all of student government. She has literally, I feel like if you go to her with a question, she'll always have an answer regarding fiscal knowledge. I believe that her experience as a CRT chair will bring a lot of valuable information towards the comptroller. And something that I really appreciated is in her goodbye speech last week, she said that she was a comptroller for all, not just the executive branch, which I know has been some concerns with past comptrollers. So I believe that she will serve us all well and that she will do her due diligence to serve the students as well.
All right, Shen.
I've known Kylie for a very short time, but in that short time, she's only been nice, informative. I became her vice chair very briefly, as she is now going to be the comptroller. But she assisted me in any way she could. I had very like minor, little silly questions, like how do I do this on Word? How do I do this on Excel? And she helped me. She didn't laugh, She was always there every step of the way. And I've seen in the room, she's there for everyone like that. So I will definitely be voting in favor of Samilo.
All right, since we've now heard 3 in affirmation and we are on a time crunch, is there anyone speaking in negation? Claus, are you speaking in negation? Or all right. Seeing none, Chair DeCara.
Motion to vote.
There's been a motion to move to voting procedures. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we are now in voting procedures. With a vote count of 40 to 0, congratulations, Comptroller Samilo.
Thank you.
All right, next up we have Juri Benitez for the Director of Student Affairs. Also, everyone be aware of the time.
Can everyone hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Well, good evening, Senate. First off, I want to thank you for having me today. For those who don't know me, my name is Juri Benitez, and I'm deeply honored to have been appointed as the Director of Student Affairs for the Lister and Brawley administration. I'm a rising junior majoring in visual communications with a minor in event management and a certificate in public relations and sports. I'm a first-generation student and also Mexican American. In just my 2 years here at UCF, I have dipped my toes in a handful of organizations on campus such as Night Dawn, First Year Experience, Greek Life, and SG. Student government has been a vital component of my UCF journey. I started my experience in this charge-on chamber as a member of the Student Government Leadership Council, also known as SGLC, and later went on to the ELC program. My amazing mentor, who was the graphic design coordinator at the time, Paola, demonstrated the communications perspective to me, which led me to apply to the digital media coordinator position last year. I was lucky enough to serve in the previous administration and enjoyed every second of it. While I was serving as the digital media coordinator for the Greenway and Smith cabinet, I conducted various headshot opportunities within all 3 branches. I held Night Shot, an on-campus opportunity for students to get their headshots taken by yours truly for LinkedIn and resumes. I took the initiative to expand Night Shot to our connecting campuses and give those students the opportunity to receive a headshot as well. It was well received by administration at both campuses, and I hope it will continue in the future. Since then, I knew I wanted to continue to grow as a leader, so here we are. Now you might wonder, why am I applying for the Director of Student Affairs having been under the Division of Communications previously? When I see myself as a leader, I see growth. I knew applying for this position would give me the potential to grow as an individual and as a leader here at UCF and beyond. A core value I adhere to when in a team setting is communication. As Director of Student Affairs, I oversee 6 individual coordinators with initiatives and objectives they want to accomplish while in the position. Connecting with each one of them on an individual level is just the base of the pyramid of trust and commitment. Knowing they will have support from me will drive them to work hard to complete their goals. With all my past experiences, especially having been a coordinator, I can take my knowledge I have learned along the way and help them excel within their goals and initiatives. Now I have confirmed I will get started right away in making the most out of this position, especially in the planning stages of SG's 2 large-scale events, which is Winter Wonderland and Universal Nights. I will also get in contact with our collaborative offices we partner with, which is the Military and Veteran Student Success Center, Student Accessibility Services, and the Grad Student Advisory Council to continue and expand on those partnerships. Becoming your next Director of Student Affairs will help SG charge forward together with new plans and initiatives for this campus and for the next generation of Knights. Thank you for your time, and now yield for questioning.
All right, we are now in line for questioning. Shen? All right.
I'm so sorry. I didn't remove my raised hand from the last time. Apologize.
All right. So we'll do Hamid and then Varela and then Banish.
Hello. So I know that you're in charge of hosting and planning these 2 events for the executive branch, but how do you plan to make all of your events accessible to students with different disabilities?
Okay, so like I said, I do plan the 2 big events, which is Winter Wonderland and Universal Nights, and just throughout accessibility purposes, I would of course get in contact with our director, who is Shane. He's the Director of Student Office of Student Involvement, also known as OSI, but also get in contact with the Student Accessibility Services. They are a service that often isn't represented a lot well. I had the privilege last year to record a video with the previous Director of Student Affairs highlighting the actual service. So just getting in contact with them, asking them how I can make this event accessible, and also getting in contact with the Disability Caucus that the Senate has, and also working along with them just to make sure that everyone's voice is heard. That's a big motto that I've always respected of, just making sure everyone's voice is heard no matter your background.
Varela.
Yeah, you spoke a little bit about like interim branch collaboration. You spoke a little about it in your proposal too with the Military and Vets Caucus. How do you ensure that all the caucuses are going to be interacted with by either you or your coordinators?
So the previous administration I served on, I actually was a part of the Hispanic Caucus, and that was it was a new initiative that we all just agreed on to start joining the caucuses, experience it along with all the Senate representatives. So my personal motive that I would go direct towards myself and towards my SITS coordinators is go to the caucus that you find more interesting. All of them are interesting, but if you find one that you have a passion with, or if you find one that, let's say, the academic affairs coordinator, if she wants to hold an event just for, let's say, the Military Veterans Caucus, or just any certain position that they want to host an event that can correlate with the caucus, go out, reach out for them. I'm not going to be like, no, let me reach out to them. I'm going to let them have free range, let them get in contact with them, also rely the info on me so I know I'm on board with it as well. But just making sure that that's how we continue the cross-branch collaborations as well.
Finish.
Hi, so you mentioned your past experience in the previous administration in a different role. What challenges do you think you'll encounter growing into this new role, and how do you plan to overcome these challenges?
So, like I said, the previous Director of Student Affairs, we had a really close relationship. She was actually my mentor when I went through the SGFC program during the first semester. So we both came in agreement as overseeing the SITS coordinators. Yes, it's doable. Yes, it's manageable. I was an orientation leader, so I myself oriented 500 students alone. So I believe that might be a challenge at first, just getting to know everyone's work ethics and stuff like that. And like I mentioned on my proposal, once everyone is appointed, everyone's already been appointed. Once everyone is confirmed, I'm just going to send out that first message let's schedule a meeting, even if it's on Zoom, because I know a lot of them are back home for the summer. Just do icebreakers, just ease out the scary stuff that people might bring to the position. And after that, that's how we will eventually grow as a team in a division.
All right, Collazo.
My question for you is, what motivates you?
So what motivates me has to be my parents. They came here as immigrants. They worked day and night in the strawberry fields. I'm from Plant City, so that's where the main strawberry crops are at. I went to Strawberry Crest High School, ironically. So those people have just been my main motivation. Coming to UCF, coming to college straight out of high school. My brother took a gap year, and that just it didn't work out well for him. So my goal was just to come straight out of high school to college to make my parents proud. They are very proud that I actually got appointed to this position. They're proud of all the success I have done in my past 2 years here at UCF, and they have always been my support system.
Samilo.
Hi. So I see that you have an initiative about creating an involvement showcase for Summer B students, and listed you have maybe partnering with RWC to host a pool party event. There is one already for first year experienced students that are starting in Summer B. So do you have any other maybe events or maybe involvement ideas to go towards this to compensate for the fact that that's already an event?
So, like I listed in my proposal, I just put like a pool party because I know there is one that happens in the fall semester that a lot of the agencies on campus actually do table. This is one of my new ideas that I got when applying for this position. I was in contact with the director of fraternity sorority life, Danielle Amin, and then also in contact with Dr. Frame as well. They're both on board with it because they don't believe that there's not enough representation. Like I said, coming as an orientation leader, students only knew about certain organizations throughout orientation and then forget it whenever they come in the fall. So for the students that come in Summer B, there really isn't a sort of like stable event. I didn't know first year experience was actually doing an event, so I would love to reach out to them. They were previously my bosses, so just actually if they want to partner in the event or just plan like a bigger event, more than welcome to.
I have a follow-up.
Go ahead. My bad.
Okay, so I know that in your response you kind of said bigger event, but you also mentioned that the idea kind of came from like sorority and fraternity life. So do you plan on working with like the agencies and departments around campus, or mostly just people that are involved within sorority and fraternity life?
So I got the idea through my fraternity, but I'm not going to focus it just on fraternity and sorority. Like, no, I forgot the word. Like talks. I'm also going to invite all the agencies. I put housing. I put late nights, cab. Just all the agencies on campus. There is 670 plus registered student organizations on campus. I want all of them to get their voices heard because a lot of people don't know there's a club for literally anything on campus. So I just want to highlight all of them. And it's kind of going to be like a miniature version of opening night in the fall, but just in the summer.
Karingle.
Motion to debate.
There's been a motion to move to debate. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we are now in debate. Samilo, Metellus, and then Banesh.
So I will be voting in favor of this candidate. I just wanted to ask a few questions, like critical thinking wise, just to see if there were more initiative background to that initiative that they had, because there wasn't much stated. Obviously, it's like a blank statement at the moment, just because of the fact that you're not really, you don't know what's going to happen. So also knowing that it's not just going to be about like sorority and fraternity, obviously that's not something that we want to like promote. So I will be voting in favor, and I encourage you all to do the same.
Metellus.
All right. Jareed is another example of positive professionalism. He's the type of person who can get anyone energized about anything, and he'll be perfect to coordinate and be the face of such large events, such as Winter Wonderland and Universal Nights, and I have faith that he'll be successful in this role, and I will be voting in favor and encourage you guys to do the same.
All right, next we have Banesh.
I will be voting in favor for this candidate. I believe that he shows a level of professionalism and expertise that we need for this type of role. I really love the initiatives that I see going, and his story of being first generation really stuck with me because I too am first generation. So yeah, shout out.
All right, we've now heard 3 in affirmation. Is there anyone wishing to speak in negation? Seeing none, is there a motion? Jadikara.
Seeing none other, motion to vote.
There's been a motion to vote. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we are now in voting procedures. With a vote count of 37 to 0, congratulations, Director of Student Affairs Benitez.
Thank you.
All right. We do have one more confirmation left. However, these are pretty significant positions within student government. So is there a motion to postpone the confirmation of Anna Valek for Director of Communications until next week? Colazo?
Yeah, motion to postpone the confirmation of Anna Wallach until the next regularly scheduled Senate meeting.
Are there any objections? Seeing none, that confirmation is postponed. Moving on. Internal legislation, notice of legislation on first reading proclamations, Proclamation 5602, proclamation recognizing the month of June as LGBTQ plus Pride Month, Senator Jimenez Valero, I hereby remand to SBA, Special Acts, Special Act 5601, creation of Title 15, the Student Government Leadership Council, Vice Chair Colazo, I hereby remand to LJR. Notice of legislation on third reading, none notice of legislation on second reading, bills, internal bill 5601, updates to Title III, Senator Almanar, postponed. In committee, internal bill 5602, updates to Title 12, Vice Chair Colazo. I'll remind you guys of the time constraint that we have right now.
I have a motion.
You may make your motion.
Motion to postpone internal bill 5602, updates to Title 12 until the next regularly scheduled Senate meeting.
There's been a motion to postpone internal bill 5602 until the next scheduled meeting. Are there any objections? Seeing none, that internal bill is postponed. Sorry, I'm like flipping between screens right now. It's not. Whoa, my team's it just kicked me out of the agenda. I'm so sorry. This is horrible timing.
Yeah, Danny, you take over.
She left off on resolution 5601, right? Okay. Resolution 5601, resolution advocating for the funding of free health pre-law advising, Senator Richmond. She's back.
I don't know what happened. Wait, where are we? It just kicked me out. Where are we?
I believe we were at resolution 5601.
All right, resolution 5601, resolution advocating for the funding of pre-health, pre-law advising, Senator Richmond.
I was just gonna say we can postpone both 5601 and 5602 to next meeting. Well, honestly, let's do it to this, not next meeting, but the meeting after, because they're so packed.
So that would be the meeting of June 6th.
That sounds right, yeah.
All right. There's been a motion to postpone resolutions 5601 and 5602 to the meeting of June 6th. Are there any objections? Seeing none, those resolutions are postponed. Proclamations. Proclamation 5601, proclamation recognizing the Florida Purple Star of Distinction designation at the University of Central Florida. Chair DeCara.
Can I motion for a 111?
There's been a motion for a 111. Are there any objections? Seeing none, you have 1 minute whenever you're ready. Can everyone access the doc or no?
Yeah, it's having. Let me do it right here.
So you can't access the doc?
I didn't. Oh, yeah, true. What was remanded is the exact same thing.
I can't hear. I can't hear.
Sorry, we were about access, but just we didn't use. Um, No, actually, you know what? I'll just go. I'll just find the last time you sent it to me.
I put it in the chat. If that one's still not working, then there's just something going on. Okay, Bliss. The one in the chat should work. So don't use the one that's on the agenda. It's the exact same thing, Dev. Trust.
Okay, does everyone have access? Just nod yes. You guys have access?
I can't access it.
Are you accessing the one on the agenda or the one that's in like our little Teams chat?
The agenda.
So yeah, look at the one in the Teams chat from my message.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so everyone is able to access the one that's in the chat. All right. All right, so Chair DeCara, you have 1 minute whenever you're ready.
Hello. This is basically just recognizing basically the University of Central Florida was given the Florida Purple Star School of Distinction designation. Basically, that we have done so well with military and veteran students that we've now been like recognized for our work, especially with academics, and just over the span of like the past year, we've been able to do so much with them, and seeing how the Military and Veterans Success Center has grown. So this is basically just recognizing for their award that we as student government, especially with the Military and Veterans Caucus, just recognizes them for their accomplishments. I yield the rest of my time to questioning.
All right, we are now in line for questioning. Are there any questions? Seeing none, is there a motion? Colazo.
Motion to move to debate.
There's been a motion to move to debate. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we're now in debate. All right, I'll do Karen Goal. Oh, Karen Goal put his hand down. All right, Hamid.
I wanted to say all the technicals that are currently on the page with the capitalization were seen in SBA as approved. I just couldn't approve the document. So can we see those as technicals?
They were seen in if they were seen in SBA and approved in SBA, then I think then they're approved already. Brody, question mark.
Yep, they're already good.
All right. Is all that you had, Hamid?
That is in fact all I had.
All right, Lazo.
May I retain?
You may, because we only have 20 seconds left.
Yeah, this is a really great thing for the military students here at UCF, and it's a great thing for UCF whole. Vote in favor, move to vote.
There's been a motion to vote. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we're now in voting procedures. With a vote count of 36 to 0 to 1, this proclamation passes on second reading. All right. We are now in Senate forum. Deezer Lazo, if you want to speak on that, or if you just want to have it read.
For the sake of time, senators can elect to read it.
All right. Is there anyone wishing to speak in Senate forum? Collazo?
Yeah, I just wanted to say to new senators who rejoined us, feel free to reach out to myself and Chair Courts. As the LJR committee, we do oversee absences. So just let us know.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak in Senate forum? Hall?
Yeah, just to echo Vice Chair Lazo's statements. Good to see new senators here. You know, something that we definitely want to see, especially considering 2 other people were resigned tonight. And I think at the end of the day, I'm glad to see that the Senate has chosen to have some grace with our members and making sure that all students are accurately represented to the best of their abilities, as well as I would just encourage everyone to kind of look at some of the vote counts that happened tonight and understand that the culture is defined by the entire body, not by a select few. And I hope that moving forward, we'll continue that culture of grace, respect, and consideration for various challenges that every student faces here at UCF. Thank you.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak in Senate forum? All right, I will say, if anyone ever has any complaints about any experiences that they've had here, I'm always available, like I said in my announcements. This is my only commitment the whole summer, so please feel free to come speak to me, come speak to Pro Tip Morset. We're both very open-minded, understanding people. If anyone has any questions about any procedures, any things like that, we will obviously work to improve our communication. Just as a reminder, just constantly be checking Teams. That is where we do most of our information. Constantly check Teams, constantly check emails. You have a Senate email. If you can't get into your Senate email, then you can ask Brody, you can ask me, and we'll direct you to the right direction for that. But constantly be checking Teams. We do send a lot of information in there, and obviously we can work on doing it better. But just moving forward, just always be checking Teams. That's a good idea. Make sure your notifications are on. Mine are. But yeah, also good job, I would say, during confirmations tonight for the most part, in keeping questions germane to conversation. I don't think that we need to be making comments that rip into anyone's character, anything like that. I think we're above that, and we just need to make sure that we're asking questions that are germane and if they're qualified, and treating these candidates with respect. And I would say we did a pretty good job at doing that for the most part. But just as a reminder, I think you all are above any mean-spirited question or anything. I think that's not the atmosphere that I want to promote. So let's all just make sure that we're keeping up with germane questions, germane debate, things like that, and that we're not ripping to anybody's character and things like that. If anyone has any questions about any of the confirmations and was deemed germane, I can give you a quick rundown. But other than that, I think it's important to note that these are people too, so there's no need to be hitting, for lack of a better term, below the belt. All right, is there anyone wishing to speak in Senate forum? Green.
Yes, I just wanted to add that prior to this meeting, I have never heard the word germane used in that context before. I'd only known it as a last name, so I'm glad you used it.
All right, we can definitely go into more depth on that another time, but we do have to be out of here in 2 minutes. Collazo, is it quick?
I want to make the motion to adjourn this meeting pending final roll call.
Are we allowed to do that if into the agenda? Okay, there's been a motion to adjourn this meeting pending final roll call. Are there any objections? Seeing none. Chair Courts.
Okay, Lazo,
Present.
Rachetta. Present. Corelli,
Present.
Christopher Levine, Stephen Levine,
Present.
Lim,
Present.
Morset,
Present.
Elias, Kringle,
Present.
DeCara,
Present.
Butler,
Present.
Connolly,
Present.
Umarov, Hamid,
Present.
Kaufman,
Present.
Larson,
Present.
McDermott, Memory,
Present.
Vitalis,
Present.
Rose,
Present.
Nun, Almanar,
Present.
Barrios,
Present.
Hall,
Here.
Jackson, Atuhaj,
Present.
Alhan,
Present.
Camilla,
I was just sworn in, so I'm no longer a senator.
thank you. Naguib,
Present.
Wanjin,
Present.
Johnson, Patel, Weiderberg,
Present.
Green,
Present.
Hendry, Borges,
Here.
Alcuda,
Present.
Nish,
Present.
Condoloro,
Present.
Lazo,
Present.
I'm present, Fuchs, Jimenez Valero,
Present.
Hashimi,
Present.
Legalbo,
Present.
Pullman,
Present.
Brenda, Richmond,
Present.
Jen,
Present.
Rilla,
Present.
Vasquez,
Present.
Lipner. Okay, with a 44 out of 53 was verified.
All right, I adjourn this meeting at 9:01 p.m. Congrats to all the people who have their positions in exec. Right, have a good weekend.